English. Imagine a world where one man holds absolute power. No laws to stop him, no fear of consequences, no limits at all. History shows us that such power rarely creates greatness. More often, it creates monsters. One of the clearest examples of this is found in the Roman Empire, in the story of an emperor named Caligula. Caligula's real name was Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus. He was born into one of the most powerful military families in Rome. From a very young age, he was surrounded by violence, betrayal, and political murder. The Roman palace was not a place of safety. It was a place where survival depended on silence, obedience, and fear. As a child, Caligula learned quickly that showing emotion could be dangerous, and trusting the wrong person could be fatal. When Caligula finally became emperor, the people of Rome celebrated. They believed a new era had begun. At first, Caligula ruled with generosity. Taxes were reduced, prisoners were released, and public games were organized to entertain the masses. Many Romans saw him as a hero, a young ruler who would restore hope to the empire. For a brief moment, it seemed like Rome had chosen the right man. But that hope did not last long. Only months into his rule, Caligula fell seriously ill. Ancient historians describe this illness as a turning point. When he recovered, people noticed a disturbing change. His behavior became unpredictable. His compassion faded, replaced by cruelty and rage. The man who returned was no longer the ruler Rome had welcomed. Caligula began to see himself as more than human. Slowly, he started demanding divine respect. Statues were built in his image, and he expected loyalty that went beyond political obedience. Disagreement was no longer tolerated. Anyone who questioned his authority became an enemy. Fear replaced trust throughout the empire. The Roman Senate, once the heart of Roman power and reason, became paralyzed. Senators were afraid to speak honestly. Decisions were no longer based on law or logic, but on the emperor's mood. What was acceptable one day could become a crime the next. Rome, once ruled by order and discipline, now lived under uncertainty. Power had completely separated Caligula from reality. Human dignity lost its value. The royal court became a stage where excess, humiliation, and intimidation were used to display authority. People survived not by justice, but by guessing what the emperor wanted in that moment. The empire still existed in name, but its moral foundation was collapsing. Historians describe this period as one where boundaries disappeared. Actions once considered unthinkable became possible simply because no one dared to say no. These events are remembered not for shock alone, but as a warning. When power exists without responsibility, destruction becomes inevitable. Eventually, Caligula's greatest weapon, fear, turned against him. His guards, officers, and closest allies no longer felt safe. The man who terrified all of Rome had created enemies everywhere. In the year 41 AD, after ruling for only 4 years, Caligula was assassinated by members of his own guard. His reign was short, but its darkness lasted for centuries. Caligula's story is not just the story of a cruel emperor. It is the story of unchecked power, of madness fueled by authority, and of what happens when one man becomes greater than the law. The Roman Empire left the world an important lesson. The law must always be greater than the ruler. When a ruler becomes the law, an empire begins to fall. Even today, the name Caligula forces us to ask an uncomfortable question. Does power change a person, or does it simply reveal who they truly are?